Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, How You Figure. I'm Justin, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over two Iron Man figures up for pre-order right now, and we're going to try to do the impossible, which is, which one, if you could only have one, which one should you pre-order? Stay tuned. All right, so this one's going to be tough. As we know, Iron Man Hot Toys are some of the most coveted pieces in anybody's collection. And it always begs the question, how many Iron Men do you need? How many Iron Man do you want? And how many Iron Man are you actually going to get? These two are the Iron Man Mark VI from the Avengers and Iron Man Mark VII suit-up version from the Avengers. Both are up for pre-order, both potentially coming out this year. If we can only get one of these two figures, which one should we go with and why? Let's jump right into this video. But before we do, consider giving this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content, and consider subscribing. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Let's jump right into this video. Here we go. All right, so the first one we're going to look at here. Now, keep in mind, we're going to be talking about two different figures. We're going to be talking about this Iron Man Mark VI 2.0 with the suit-up gantry, but we're also going to be talking about just the regular Mark VI 2.0. We're also going to be talking about the Mark VII suit-up version with the special edition exclusive with the Stark Tower hologram, and obviously just the collector's edition that doesn't come with that hologram. But again, I wanted to show you that even though we're talking about two different figures, there's four possible options for you here. And even though I said two, technically, if you decide you might want that gantry, that could be a third option. But we're still going to talk about these two as if they were kind of the same figure, so that way it kind of helps you like which one you want. So the first one we're going to talk about, let's just kick it off with just the regular collector's edition version of the Iron Man Mark VI 2.0. We're going to just do a quick rundown of what you get with this figure. You get battle damage head sculpt, obviously. You get battle damaged chest piece. You get different missiles. You get all the different accessories that you can come to expect from a Iron Man figure. You even get some of these different lasers that come out of the wrist joints probably, and you get a lot of different hands, a lot of different pieces. You get that cool base from the first Avengers movie, which if you're like me, the Avengers is my all-time favorite MCU movie. Everything that comes out under this license, under this movie, I'm probably gonna get or want to get. So that's why this one's so difficult, because both of these figures we're talking about today are from the original Avengers. But let's take a closer look here. Let's take a closer look at one of the selling points for this figure, and this is this new Tony Stark head sculpt. Out of all the head sculpts they've done for Tony Stark, and there's been some really good ones, there's been some great ones, there's been some near perfect ones. The only one I can judge on is the only one I have, and that's back there. You can kind of see it, the Iron Man Mark III 2.0. That figure is absolute perfection. I love that figure. This head sculpt right here finally captures a little bit of that Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, sarcasm, wit, the intelligence. It kind of finally gives him some personality. All these other ones are more of a serious look, and rightfully so. A lot of these figures, the way they have them set up, that's a great looking head sculpt, but it's more of either a default or a serious head sculpt. This one finally captures some of the different, a smirking head sculpt, gives a little bit more of that Tony Stark, like I said, sarcasm, that comedy. And I think a lot of people are excited for this head sculpt. I think a lot of people like that. I mean, you can see it right there. I really, really do like that a lot. It looks really, really good. And I think that is one of the big selling points of this figure. Obviously, a lot of people love that Mark VI suit. It's a lot of people's favorites. I keep going back and forth if I like the Mark VI, Mark VII, or the Mark III as my favorite suits of the entire franchise. It's definitely between those. But this figure just looks phenomenal. And you have it right here. And we're not even at the suit-up gantry yet, so we won't show pictures of that, but we're going to still show pictures of this head sculpt. And we're going to show a few pictures of the different accessories. Like I said, if you've seen Iron Man in the first couple movies, they did these different lasers right here. It's really, really cool. The battle damage looks great. Just everything about this figure looks phenomenal. And yeah, I mean, you can just see it. Let's just look at it together a little bit here. And we're going to finally just look at this one more time with everything you get for the most part with this figure. Now, we're going to go over and look at the gantry. Full disclosure, this is coming in before shipping and all this stuff on Sideshow's website right now. It's at $660. So you're definitely paying for that gantry. You can get the gantry by itself. I think that one rings in about $320. And then the other, I think this version right here is like in the $460, $470 range. But this one, well, let's look at this real quick. Obviously, the big thing, the collector's set. the big thing is that suit up gantry. And with the collector set, you get you get the battle damage chest piece, you get more chest pieces, you get more battle damage, you get more of that suit up version with everything, and that is going to appeal to a lot of people. And I feel like people that really want this suit and the gantry, they're just going to have to get this one. But it comes with everything else that you see with that one. But again, I wanted to show that suit up collectible set exclusive there. We're going to kind of take a little bit more of a look right here with the suit up gantry. Just looks absolutely phenomenal. Here's the different pieces you get with that. Additional helmet and armor parts. Looks really, really good. Let's see what else we got here. So this is, again, if you like that suit up scene, and if you remember the first Avengers when he's meeting Coulson and he flies in from like fixing something in the ocean or whatever, has that great suit up scene. It was in the trailers. It was really, really good. Then you probably are really looking forward to this one. And again, there's that head sculpt again, but with the gantry, it just adds a lot. It puts this figure into a scene, and there it is right there. It just looks so good. Like, this is such a cool base / accessory that it's going to be hard not to get this one. It really, really is. And that's what's going to make this video so tough, because we're about to get into the other figure, and we're going to have to make a decision by the end of this. But look how good that looks. I don't even know how this is going to work yet, but I'm super excited to see how it does. Yeah, I mean, you could just see the appeal right there. It's going to almost give it that, like, while he's walking, taking off all the pieces, there's a lot of different things you can do with this display. And I think a lot of people are excited, not only for the Mark VI suit that you see right here, not only for the head sculpt, but getting that gantry. But with the price point being so high, will that come into play with our decision? So let's go over to the Tony Stark. Now again, this one's called the Iron Man. This one's called the Tony Stark, and it's because of this right here. We got the Tony Stark Mark VII suit up version. We're just going to kick it off by looking at the special edition exclusive first with that Stark Tower hologram. Again, some people might not care about the Stark Tower hologram. I personally do. I really want that Stark Tower hologram. Anytime that I can get an exclusive piece for the same price, I'm going to always do it. This figure and the regular collector's edition are the same price, and I get something extra. I'm going to take it every time. The thing that really, really, really is appealing about this figure is that you can have a Tony Stark figure just clothed from an iconic scene where he's talking to Loki about the Avengers. It was just a huge scene in the trailers, a huge scene that played in the theaters. One of the highlights of this film. And you got this great head sculpt. As much as I loved that other head sculpt on the Mark VI with that, you know, that smirking grin, this head sculpt and the hair and the aging looks so good to me. If this head sculpt can end up looking like this prototype figure, I think this is probably the best Tony Stark head sculpt we're going to get so far. I love it. I think it looks fantastic. I think it truly captures his character in this movie. And again, I'm biased because I love the original Avengers movie. But here's another thing. You can have so many cool display options. You have a suit up version of the suit. So again, you're not going to get that full suit figure that you might want with the other ones, but you're going to get that suit up version where you can do a lot of it. He can pretty much be wearing it, so you can have him standing up and he can be wearing a lot of it, like you saw in this picture right here. So it's kind of like, you know, that Iron Man 1 figure they have from the original Iron Man where he's testing out the suit and stuff. But you know, this one even has more pieces that he's wearing. But the cool thing is you can display him like this, and I think that's what appeals to me so much about this. And I want to scroll up a little bit so you can see these wrist pegs. I mean, that is just so cool because that's how the sensors get to him and get him in his suit. You know this stuff. If you're watching this video, you love the movie like I do. But this right here just looks so good. The rolling eyeballs, him looking up, just a phenomenal looking figure right here. And here is the exclusive piece you get. So we're going to look at the one that you don't get the piece. Again, same figure, you just don't get that exclusive piece with it. But again, look at all the different stuff you can do with it. You can display it like this, which would look phenomenal. All right. But I think a lot of people, especially if you already have an Iron Man figure or you have that Mark VI figure, and that's why a lot of people would probably say there's justification to get both, and I totally get that. I think that's what I'll probably end up doing, simply because I would love to have the Mark VI, and then I would love to have Tony Stark like this, and maybe even like this, and it would tell two scenes. You know, it would show the gantry, it would show that scene, and then it would show this scene. But having this, just like that Batman with the armory, but this one looks like a fully articulated figure, whereas the Batman with the armory figure Christian Bale's just kind of like with an arms crossed pose. It's like a power pose figure. This one looks fully articulated and it looks fantastic. I know there's some inaccuracies with some of the shirt. I get that stuff, but I can totally look beyond that. And I just think it looks phenomenal. Yeah, man, I cannot wait to get this figure. But here's the thing. We can only pick one. And again, I know that this one's got the special edition exclusive, so that's the one we're going to be talking about. Are we going to get the special edition exclusive Tony Stark Mark 7? Or are we going to get the Iron Man Mark 6? The suit up gantry is definitely an option. Okay? If I had to just pick one, okay? If I had to just pick one, all right? Let's just say that I don't even have this Mark III 2.0, and I'm having to just pick one figure. I would probably end up going with... I'd probably have to go with this one. I'd probably have to go with the Mark 6 with the suit up gantry, simply because you're getting that full Iron Man suit with it. You're getting the helmet, you're getting the full Iron Man look, but you could also have somewhat of a Tony Stark look with just the different head sculpt, and with the gantry taking the parts off. It would be really cool. So that's the one I'd get. Okay, if I could only get one, if I could only have one Iron Man figure and I had to pick between these three, or these, technically two. But let's just say, since that one's kind of unfair because you're getting that suit up gantry, let's just keep it between the Mark 6 2.0 and the Mark 7 suit up version. If I had to pick between these two, and I could only have the one, and I could only have one in my display, I would probably still, even though this one right here is my most anticipated Marvel figure of the year, and if you want to see my whole top 10 list, I'll put that in the cards or in the description below. This is the one I'm most excited for. If I can only get one, and it was the only Iron Man that I could have, I would have to go with the Mark 6, simply because you can display it as a full Iron Man. You have the battle damage, and you can also display it with Tony Stark, so you get all of it. The only thing, and again, this is a scene specific one, you don't get that full Iron Man suit on this one. You don't get him wearing the full Iron Man suit. This is about as good as you can get it right here. Again, this is the one that I'm most excited about getting personally. But if I can only have one out of these two, I would probably have to go, not probably, let's just call it, I'd have to go with the Mark 6 2.0. And that's just how it is. And it was a tough decision. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments which one of these two figures you're going with. Again, yes, obviously you can say you're getting both. That would be totally understandable. I'm even thinking about getting both. But just to make it fun, if you could only pick one of these two figures, and you could only have one in your collection, which one would you choose and why? Please let me know that in the comments. I want to really get a discussion going and hear what everyone has to say. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. It would really help out my channel a lot. Consider subscribing if you like this type of content. I would love to have you as a subscriber. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.